I was so afraid, clearly, in these essays to get told yes.
Access denied. Access denied. Access denied. Hey y'all, it's your host Jessica Jordan, and I'm here on Access Denied, the podcast dedicated to helping you get over your fear of rejection, one episode at a time. Let's go! Hey y'all, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Access Denied. I cannot wait to introduce you guys to today's guest, because not only is she a great friend of mine, but she's also one of the most multi-talented human beings that I've ever met. Seriously, she's so amazing. You guys are gonna love her. Today, I have the privilege of interviewing Amanda Jarosik, who is a medical student here in Chicago, Illinois. In today's episode, we cover a wide range of topics, but some of my personal favorite conversations involve the medical school application process, how to handle rejection and stay focused on your dream, on your goal, and remembering that you deserve success even if things don't go your way the first time. Y'all do not want to miss this episode. So without further ado, let's get started. Amanda, welcome to Access Denied. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. I feel great. Yep.
Yay! It is a Monday here, so beginning of the week vibes. We are matching, which I am now noticing. Brown hoops, even black.
We have like a very neutral moment for this Monday in January.
You know what? It fits the vibe because January is simultaneously like 2 days long and like 2 years long, and I can't really explain that.
No, I totally agree. I always feel so much better. My mom and I always say if we can make it to Valentine's Day, like we've done it. Like it starts getting lighter, it starts getting a little warmer. Yeah, so
100%. This has actually been the first year that I've noticed, though, it is getting lighter. Like presently, like it's 5 p.m. now when the sun goes down. That's cool.
Yes. Yeah,
that's progress.
Such a game changer.
It's so sad, but it's so true. But Valentine's Day is a great, like, I feel like threshold is not threshold to pass.
That's right. Yeah. It's a good time goal to get to, I guess.
Yeah, and it's a fun holiday. It's a little commercialized, but it's fun. It's a good time.
No, I mean, you can also do Galentine's Day. Like, we're in full support. Make it what you want it. So,
heck yeah, I like both. Mm-hmm. Both are great.
They're great.
You know what? I love love. Love is great.
Love. Big love is love, gal.
big lover era person. It's a
exactly.
Wait, you're a Swiftie too, right?
I am a Swiftie. Yes, I am. Saw the Eras tour. It was great.
Oh, did you go in Chicago?
I did in June of like last year. It was wonderful.
Oh, I love that. I love the Eras tour. I missed the Eras tour so much.
R.I.P. the Eras tour.
R.I.P. the Eras tour. But it's fine because we get a Swiftie Super Bowl, so that's all.
Yes, I just saw you posting about that. That really made me laugh.
I was rooting for it. I was telling all my friends that watch football. I was like, so Eagles versus Chiefs, and nobody wanted that combination.
And nobody else. That's what I was just going to say. Everyone that I talked to wanted the Bills to win, but so you know what? It'll be really fun. I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl too. So
it'll be something, and it'll be great.
It'll be something. Exactly.
Well, Amanda, it's so good to have you on Access Denied. You and I have been connected actually through your boyfriend, JP, who did the music for Access Denied. So there's a fun little connection there, and I love that.
Yes, big JP fan. Check out his music.
He's great. Absolutely adore him. I've known him for 8 years now, and he's a great guy. You're very lucky, and he's very lucky because you're amazing. And the handful of times I've gotten to meet you over the last 6 months or whatever, it's been so good. So
I'm so happy that we got connected that way. It's been so much fun.
Me too. Will you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell all of our listeners a little bit about you, who you are, where you come from, all that fun information.
Absolutely. Well, my name's Amanda Jarosik, and I'm currently a medical student living in Chicago. Second year medical student to be specific, so got a big board exam coming up soon. But I'm really interested in psychiatry. I'm a big mental health advocate, LGBTQ advocate. And I just am having a great time living in Chicago, getting to know people like you, having so much fun.
Chicago's a great city. And you know what? We also have another place in common, which is the University of Notre Dame.
Yes, go Irish.
Go Irish, fellow Domer. We both got to watch a really disappointing end to their football
Oh my
season
gosh,
this
so
past week.
devastating. I know. My parents met at Notre Dame actually, and so I like grew up watching them, and there was like a very like childhood version of Amanda that was like deeply hurt watching that game. You know
Our
what?
defense
Someday.
just could not do it. They were not vibing
Well,
together.
yeah. Yeah, Ohio State's they're just very good. What can I say? But it was a great season. You know, I got to see like luckily a couple of the games over in Notre Dame. So yeah, it was great. But
So your parents met at Notre Dame. Is that how you ended up at Notre Dame then?
yeah, definitely part of the story. I grew up going to Notre Dame games, and like all of their college friends are basically my aunts and uncles and my cousins because I have a very, very small like biological family. So we would go every year. And I'm also a big music person. So I knew actually that in college I wanted to do music as a hobby, because I've just always really vibed with arts people, and I knew that that was how I wanted to meet people and make friends. And so I was looking at schools with like big marching bands and concert bands and things. And Notre Dame just was the perfect fit. It has such a good science program that was super, super flexible. And then also, like, as you know, giant Notre Dame marching band, really big arts program, which is sort of how I knew JP as well, and then made so many lifelong friends, now including you. And it was, yeah, just very easy to go there.
Wait, okay. I love so much of what you just said. I want to hear more about band. What instrument do you play? What instrument, like, was it different in concert band versus marching band? I did band in high school, so I understand
Yeah,
that those can be different sometimes. That's why, yeah.
absolutely. I play the clarinet. I've played the clarinet since I was in fifth grade. I feel like a lot of my friends now are weirdly clarinetists that like used to play the clarinet. We just kind of find each other in the wild, which is so fun. Like my best friend in medical school played the clarinet, and we had no idea until we talked about it recently. But yeah, and now in medical school, I also am the president of a band that we do volunteering like in the pediatrics unit at a local soup kitchen, at a local retirement community. So we do a lot of music there, and I've branched out a little bit into like singing live in front of people. I play the ukulele a little bit, and recently I've been cajoning, which is the drum. I have zero percussion experience, but I just kind of go for it. But it's been really nice. I had so much stage fright growing up and would always like push myself to audition for things and get in front of people. And so being in a band in which I'm kind of forced to sing in front of people that I don't know has actually helped my confidence a lot and helped me like get over a lot of that stage fright. So it's been a weird blessing in medical school.
That's so sick. I didn't know that. You got like into all of that. Like now as a medical student, like balancing that must be so challenging with your schedule, but like so rewarding in so many ways, I'm sure too.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Like I made a lot of friends. Turns out you can do hobbies in medical school. You can and should. This makes you a better person. And yeah, it's been really cool being able to connect with some of my peers over something that's not just studying, but is instead like making music and talking about songs and going and singing for kids and doing Christmas caroling. And yeah, it's so much fun.
I love so much about this. I also love that you just like flock to other clarinetists. I'm just like picturing you all having the same vibrational energy or
there's so many like band kid stereotypes out there, and I think we just find each other sometimes. It's awesome.
I mean, the stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason to an extent. Like I feel that I know a lot. So I play trombone. That was my primary instrument.
Yeah.
I feel like I just vibe with other
Yeah. They have like trombones, I feel like have very crazy energy in a very specific way. but they crack me up. So that really makes sense to me somehow.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was the disruptor of my high school band. I was a very good student. I will say that. I was never like the problem in a classroom except for band. Band, I was nuts. I just like, my band teacher didn't like me because of that. We had friction. It was fine. But like, yeah.
Yeah.
The trombone just brings a different energy.
That is so true. All the trombones are such good students and absolute maniacs. So
yes, living up to the stereotypes.
That's really making me giggle. I love that so much for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The music scene at Notre Dame is really amazing. The marching band, as you mentioned, like was always my favorite part of the football games. I'm not a big football girl. I'm not a big sports person in general, but definitely football's low tier for me.
Yeah.
However, the marching band, every halftime show, I looked forward to it. Sometimes I would stay for the band and then I would leave.
Yeah. And we support, like we made it through some rough football games too, but we were always like, the band always wins, guys. Yes, but you do music as well, right?
I do. Less so now, though. We'll see. I do. But I did. I'm so bad at the like, trying to be coy, trying to not be. Yeah.
Anyway. Yes.
Choir. I did choir in college. So Notre Dame is obviously a Catholic institution and have a lot of choirs. And I was very lucky. I did the liturgical choir and made some amazing lifelong friends through that because music does bond you. It just does.
Yeah. I actually did liturgical choir my senior year, but only
Did you really?
I did.
Okay, hold on. I'm sad. Tell me everything.
So my senior year was COVID year. I don't know if you remember this, right? So I graduated in 2021. So our whole senior year, we had like social distancing. We were very shut down. And so all the choirs had to rehearse outside on the quads, like in tents. And I lived in Welsh Hall and they would rehearse like on Bond Hall quad. And I heard them singing and I was like, I have to be a part of this. So I emailed them and I was like, hey, do you have any room for any sopranos? And they took me. And so I did it. And we actually never got to sing like in the basilica because of social distancing, but we would do like candlelit masses outside. It was so lovely. Just like a very peaceful thing during senior year. But oh my gosh, the music in that choir is insane. So beautiful.
I did not know this about you, and I'm so glad that you've experienced Andrew McShane.
Yes. Absolutely have experienced him. Oh my gosh. He really cracks me up. There's such good energy.
He's the best.
Yes, he is.
Oh my God, that's so great. Dr. Andrew McShane, y'all, he's the director of the choir, and he's such a character. I don't know how to describe it. Like sometimes you think he's just like mad, but he's always just like down for a good time. It's so amazing.
Yeah. And that is a man that like truly loves his job, like just loves what he does so much. And yeah, it was such good energy during like a very weird year too. Every like Tuesday, Thursday, you get to go and just sing songs with the beautiful liturgical choir. So.
Oh. Well, I'm happy to hear that you had a good experience despite the chaos of all of that.
Yeah.
But, that does lead me to my next question in a way. You seem so passionate about music. What led you down the science route for like your professional career?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that's just always kind of been in me, I think, like since I was very, very young. I loved biology, but to me, medicine is very much an art. It's very, very humanities based. And though there is a lot of, biochemistry, organic chemistry in it, to me, it feels extremely human. And so I haven't experienced too much like cognitive dissonance. It just feels very natural, especially being interested in psychiatry and just the human experience in general, and very interested in storytelling. and what kind of makes life meaningful and important are questions that I feel like medicine really delves into very deeply. And so, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Although, of course, there are days where I'm like, I don't really want to memorize like this, I don't know, list of whatever medications or like chromosomes and stuff. It's been such a joy like being in medicine and also being into the arts. So,
Well, I love that perspective of medicine being an art form because I agree. I mean, it's our human nature is to be like much more than like facts and like all of these things. Like we are so much more, and our brains in particular with psychiatry are they thrive on storytelling. That like that's like the whole thing is us creating our own story. So I just think that that's beautiful, a beautiful way to look at it all. But sorry, I'm like in my head now. But I guess like, so walk me through your journey then. Did you study bio at Notre Dame? Like, did you kind of always know you wanted to go to med school? What was that early journey like?
Yeah. I have basically wanted to go to medical school since I was in like elementary school. And at Notre Dame, I was this very cool major just called Science Business Pre-Professional, where I got to take some business classes, because I just think that's important to know about. And I got to take like all the intro science classes, and then the rest was really elective science and very much build your own schedule, which is super fun for me, because I got to like make sure I got all my requirements, but also got to do like the liberal arts kind of stuff and the band stuff as well, and really build like a well-rounded person, I guess. Yeah, and I applied to medical school, which part of my journey is that I applied twice, but the first time was during the end of my senior year of college. And that was like a very long journey for sure, doing the application process.
Do you mind kind of, because you said that you've applied twice, I guess, like, do you mind kind of walking us through what that first time looked like for you? Because I can't imagine personally doing it during school anyway. I know a lot of people that like took a gap year after Notre Dame and then applied for obvious reasons. It's very stressful, but then doing that on like during a COVID year on top of that. I can't already credit to you for doing it in the first place, but yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'll kind of go back to doing it in the COVID year and maybe what I should have done, because I didn't necessarily make like the smartest choices doing that the first time. But for a little bit of context, like the medical school application process is really about 1.5 years long. They don't make it super easy. And so you basically in like February, March, start building a personal statement. You start reaching out to people asking for letters of recommendation. And then you submit what is called a primary in like May or June. And so I did that like right at the end of my senior year. And then you wait. And then you get secondaries from all of the schools. Typically you apply to about 20. And they ask you for like extra essays in order to just like get a better gauge of who you are. And so you do those in like July or August. And they're all like different lengths and they all want slightly different things. And so it can be like very overwhelming. And then you wait more and hopefully you get an interview at some point, like anywhere from September to like May. And then if you get in, you go in like July or August of the next year. So it's really like a year and a half long process. So I actually did build in a gap year. And I worked at Northwestern doing clinical research, which was awesome. I got to like work directly with patients. It was great. And also just got to feel like a human after doing like COVID in college in this very weird experience. And so I went through that whole process and I applied to 20 schools and I got waitlisted at one and didn't end up getting in. And I feel like that's really when the whole like reflecting on why I wanted to do medicine, you know, like right out of college when everybody hits that, like, what am I doing with my life? That's like really when that kicked in for me was like getting this rejection and being like, oh my gosh, I thought this was the plan. This has always been the plan. Now what do I do? Do I apply again? Do I completely reroute? Like, what do I actually want to do? You know, I feel like that's almost a universal experience of everybody getting kicked in the butt at some point, whether it's in college or right out of college or sometime in your 20s, like of just being like, what am I doing? What do I do? Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's definitely a universal experience. Can't say that it's not. And sometimes it happens more than once, which is
Oh yeah. Yeah.
also, and like, I think that's normal too in many ways. Like
Mm-hmm.
a very common phrase is rejection is redirection. And I think
Mm-hmm.
getting a rejection like that, for me, a big one for me was my divorce.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Receiving these like big life-changing direct like rejections require reflection.
Yeah.
I'm using a lot of R words that end in shun and like, I'm losing track. But they do require you to sit back and be like, what do I want?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I like I guess similarly to like I had also just gotten out of a like 3.5 year relationship right about at the same time this was happening. And was like living at home with my parents, saving money, and was just like, okay, like I thought that I was gonna like move here and like marry this person, and I thought I was gonna like go to medical school now, and I feel ready now. And now what do I do? And ultimately I like made the decision to apply again, and went through that whole process again, and you know, was looking at my application and was like, okay, like what happened? Where did I go wrong? Like my grades are great. Like I have all this experience, et cetera, et cetera. And I realized that what really did it was actually my essays, which I had written during my senior year of COVID. And that I was so afraid, clearly, in these essays to get told yes, right? Like I was reading these essays and I could tell that I was almost telling myself no in them, like before I even got in,
Wow.
right? Of like, because when you have something that you've worked for so long and you feel like your life's kind of been leading up to it, it can be really scary to be like, but what if I really, really try and I don't, and it doesn't work out, right? And in these essays, I was almost saying like, but it's okay if you don't take me or something like that. And I was just like floored that I had done that and had like preemptively almost gaslit myself into not getting into school, out of like fear of committing to this like really long career and getting told yes to something that felt like very big and very important. Mm-hmm.
There's so much to unpack there, I fear. Because I think a lot of people do that in small ways
Yeah.
often. But
Yeah.
like something like big, nobody really talks about how for those big things that we want, we can so often get in our own way. God knows, I know I've done it. Like I'll have like an idea for a video or something like that, and I will put off making it because I'm like, oh, well, what if it does this, or what if it, no. And that's a smaller scale, but I think like the point is that's also a universal experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you were reapplying, how did you kind of correct that in a way?
Yeah, I don't think that it was right away. I like really pushed myself to like I had tons of people read my essay and like really reflected a lot, but I think that internal feeling didn't actually go away for a while. Because I remember actually like the moment of getting into school, and I'm at UIC now, which is in Chicago. It's wonderful. 10 out of 10 would recommend. But I remember getting it, and you think you're going to be like super happy because you did it. And I just felt like very scared of like, oh my gosh, I like got a yes, and now like I'm gonna do it. And it felt like a very overwhelming thing to say yes to. And I very much like question that, especially because when you interview, people ask you like every day, like, why medicine? Why do you want to do this? To the point that after a while you're like, I don't know. Like, stop asking, just let me do it. Which is so funny. Um, but oh my gosh, like once I finally like got in and just started doing it, like the amount of peace that I felt, I really feel like I didn't totally feel like I wasn't gaslighting myself until I just went for it. Like just did like the leap of faith, you know? Mm-hmm.
100%. I think, I mean, oftentimes, like, that's what it takes, right? Is
Yeah.
stepping into that to get out of that negative tailspin mindset where
Mm-hmm.
you're just like constantly worried in a way. Like, is this
Yeah.
right? Is this it? Am I doing like,
Mm-hmm.
especially with medicine? Because I actually had no idea that the application process was as long as what you described.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I knew it was like a year process. I didn't realize that it kind of really extended beyond a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's intense in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you have all this time to like doubt in there, I think.
Yes, there's so much waiting. And I think most of the people that do apply to medical school are like very type A, like doers, that it can be very difficult to just wait to hear responses and just not be able to do anything. To anyone who's listening and wants to apply to medical school or any grad program, like I think being in it is way easier than actually applying, like for the reasons of there's so much time to doubt. There's so much time to be like, did I do everything that I could? Am I doing the right thing? And then just like finally taking that leap of faith, I felt so much peace actually doing the thing and being like, oh, I can do this. I am good enough for this. This does bring me a lot of joy. I'm like making friends. I'm growing. Rather than just waiting and building it up in your head of, is this going to be awful? Is this going to be great? I just don't know. I can't plan for it, right? Sometimes you just gotta take the leap of faith.
You gotta take the leap of faith. That's a nugget of wisdom, friends. That is a nugget of wisdom.
Yeah.
That's what every time I have a guest on that says something that I'm like, latch onto that. That's how we know it's a nugget of wisdom. But I guess like, so I believe in manifestation to an extent, like not in the like way that I feel like sometimes people can like believe in manifestation, but like in the way that I believe if you really want something and you believe in it and you like push for it every single day and put in the work, like just writing something down on a piece of paper and doing no work is not going to get you what you manifest. But like saying things out loud, affirming that that's possible, going after it, doing the steps, all of that is a form of like manifesting in a way.
Yeah.
And taking control of your future. And like one thing that gets in the way of that is self-doubt. It is you're in a sense like rejecting yourself because you're telling yourself like oh well, I don't deserve this, or maybe this isn't it for me, maybe I don't want this even if you do. And that sounds like something you experienced in the application process. And honest to God, if something is taking 1.5 years, I am not known for my patience. So I would also be having so much self-doubt. I have imposter syndrome every single day. And I get instant gratification when I post a video. So like,
yes. I think that it matters so much, like what you allow yourself to consume as well. Because of course, during this time, I was looking up like vloggers who are in medical school and stuff. And oftentimes the people that are most negative are the loudest and are the ones with the views and are the things that get pushed to you in the algorithm. And so I was very often getting recommended videos that were like, why I dropped out of medical school, or like why I quit medicine, and like these very negative things that were really freaking me out, because all of the people that are just like having a good time and enjoying their career or just like doing fine and doing cool things, they're not always the ones making the videos or like posting on the internet. And so maybe that's another piece of advice, I guess, of just be really careful what you consume and like who you take advice from and where you go to gather information, because what is the most pushed is not always what is true. And that's something that I wish I learned earlier, of just like being more cautious with who I'm taking advice from in the videos that I'm watching, because my experience is very, very different than these vloggers' experiences, or everybody's going to have a different experience.
I love that advice for so many reasons, because it's so applicable across industry, across personal and professional experiences. I'm thinking like of my time like in the dating scene and watching all of these horror stories all the time, and I'm like, well, dating sucks, and it changes your mindset. Really, but it also makes me think, like, with the way the internet plays such a role in our lives these days, I feel like everybody's heard the phrase of you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with or whatever.
Yeah.
When you follow somebody, or even if they're showing up on your For You page all the time and they're bringing negative energy, or they have like these negative experiences and you're inviting that in, you are going to take that on board to some degree.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
That energy doesn't just bounce off of you because it's on a screen. Like you're welcoming that in. And so if you're watching it all the time, like it's going to affect you. It's going to impact your mood and your belief about yourself and your desires. Like you have to protect your peace.
No, absolutely. Like the quality of my life got so much better when I did social media cleanses. It was like, all right, I am going to like not consume this like intentionally for a while. And you like, yeah, it just gets so much better. But I totally agree. There's so much negativity on the internet. So often, like people that are unhappy or things that are controversial or negative are the things that are pushed and interacted with. And you just have to be very, very careful with it.
I mean, I think we're living in a very volatile time right now in the United States. And there's a lot of like negativity out there right now, too. And granted, I don't think that we should suppress that for any purpose, because information is power in a situation like we're living in. However, mental health breaks are important, making sure that it doesn't overconsume you. I always say this, but joy is an act of resistance. That's like one of my favorite phrases. And being able to find moments of joy in chaos is important. But I can't stress how much I think, like, I know my career's on social media right now. I know that like I love social media and the community that it's brought me and the information it's brought me. But there are negatives 1,000% to social media too.
Yeah, that's a good point too. It is good to like be informed, absolutely. And so that's also a good point of like watching some of these videos did make me aware of like some things to look out for in medicine, or like you do need to be informed of what's going on, especially now with like politics and everything. I know I'm still trying to figure out the balance between like what is protecting my mental health and what is staying informed. Because I think it can often be like a duty, like of being a citizen, to be informed and to understand what's going on in our country and in other people's lives that are impacting them every single day. And that'll probably just be an ongoing journey, like what is being informed and intentional and being active, and what is still like filling our cups and making sure that we don't burn out.
100%. We
got a really good point.
Thank you. And I think like, thank you for being so honest about your journey and whatnot too. I do think, like you said, there are certain limits that you should put on that content. And those experiences, just because you have to be able to like find your hope and your excitement and your joy within all of that. But it is good. Like I can imagine that hearing some of those negative experiences probably did inform you about how to go about the application process and then the transition into med school and all of that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Of just like having pretty low expectations and feeling like maybe I'm not doing the right thing. And then I got here and was like, oh no, like I am doing the right thing. Like this is a really good place for me. I very much feel fulfilled here. Although like I'm still aware that I'm early in the journey, and there will for sure always be challenges, but that's in any career. And it's always scary to get up every morning and be like, am I still doing the thing I want to do? Like, yes, I'm still doing the thing I want to do, and being okay if that changes. But like still getting up and being like, yeah, I'm still on the right path, and this is what I want to do.
I guess for anybody listening that may be like in their application phase, right? Or literally or figuratively, however that looks, for the listeners right now, what would you say like you do to remind yourself of your motivation every day?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, like I said, just I like literally will get up sometimes and just be like, is this still what I want to do? Like, yeah, it's still what I want to do. Like, this is still the journey that I want to be on. I think that in the moments of doubt, though, just like keeping the big picture in mind of like where you want your life to look like, and like all of the joy and all of the happiness, sometimes asking other people for help. Like there were often times where I felt like really in a thought spiral, and I would like talk to my parents and be like, I'm really in a thought spiral, and they're like, Amanda, like when you talk about medicine, you get so excited. And I was like, you're right. Like I do. Like I'm still on the right thing. And so whatever that process is, whether it's finding little reminders for yourself, finding it internally, looking at the big picture, I mean, you'll get there. Like there are always moments of doubt. I think sometimes the world really wants you to think that you don't deserve things and that you don't deserve to succeed, but you do. And you'll get there.
You do deserve to succeed, friends. You do deserve to succeed. I love that. That's such an important reminder to hang on to, because I feel like people do forget that all the time.
Yeah.
I know I do. I think it's hard to keep that in mind so often, no matter who you are. But I think, like, I don't know if you feel this, like, as a fellow woman, like, there's a lot keeping us down. And I can't, woman in science too, like, there's even more pushback. I guess that's an important question that I should ask you. Like, has your experience, you think, as a woman been impactful to you in the medical space?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I will say, honestly, no. And that's probably kudos to my program and just people in my program of like, I have had a really positive experience, just like in my program with like guys in my program as well. I do think that there needs to be, this is probably getting into a controversial topic as well, in terms of like being able to family plan for a woman in long careers. There's not a ton of support to like either freeze your eggs or have maternity leave or like have healthcare coverage for things like birth control or doing IVF for women that are in the medical career or like these long kind of demanding careers. So I think that there's a lot of systemic support that could be better to help people succeed. But like personally, me on my day to day, I feel very supported and don't necessarily feel like there's roadblocks in my way necessarily because I am a woman. So I've been very lucky with my program and where I am.
That makes me really happy to hear. I have another friend who is also in med school right now, and I asked them a very similar question, just like casually, not too long ago. They said something very similar, and so I do hope that means that attitudes are changing. Again, we live in Chicago, that I think is a more progressive city than other cities in many ways. So I think that might play a part in it, perhaps too, as an outsider looking in. But I'm happy to hear that's your experience. I am sad that the topics that you brought up are considered controversial because they shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Like
and it's so crazy to me. I'm like, we also, I mean, not universally, but like we want to have families, like we want to have kids, and you just need systemic support to be able to do that. But that shouldn't be a controversial subject to like help us have healthy children. But
I mean, the thing is, like, the people on the other side of the coin for what I feel like we're talking about right now.
yeah.
They support families. Like they want you to have more kids. I literally heard one of the politicians say that the other day. We want more babies. Like,
I don't.
Why are we not helping make that happen?
Yes, exactly. And it's like, yes, we also want that, actually. At least a lot of us do. But,
Believe it or not.
I need a little help, though. Like, I kind of need some maternity leave, really. 100%. But, yeah.
So frustrating.
Oh, my goodness. Mm-hmm.
But, okay. More personally now, I feel like thank you again for sharing your journey. I feel like it is such an important story for so many reasons. I love that you didn't give up on your dream after like that rejection that you got in the first place, because one, it's so clear to me how passionate you are just hearing you talk about it. But also, obviously, you and I have hung out several other times. And every time you tell me about like work or anything, I can just see like your eyes light up. You seem very like proud of the work you do. And so like that makes me happy to hear. And I just, not that you needed affirmation today, but you're getting it from me. There you go.
Yeah, I'm just glad that I didn't gaslight myself out of doing it. So. Yeah,
gaslighting. It's not just in relationships anymore, friends. Sometimes it comes from
gaslight yourselves all the time.
Oh, I do that all the time. I'm always like, gosh, I'm so crazy. And I'm like, wait, no, that's not true. You're not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But something that I definitely want to talk about, because you kind of we hinted at it a little bit at the beginning with you talking about your music journey right now and whatnot. But you know, medical school is often like classified as being like this really intense thing where you aren't able to date, you're not able to do anything fun, you're just constantly studying, you're constantly grinding, constantly pushing forward. And you seem to have a very like well-rounded life. Like, obviously, we talked about you're in a relationship with JP, like you're doing music, but beyond that, you also do art, and you wrote a book, like a whole ass book. I mean, it's in my hand. I'm literally like halfway through it right now.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Like, what the hell? You're kind of like a powerhouse in every way. It's like,
listen, I just have a lot of interests, okay? I just think the world's really interesting, guys. Like, just stuff.
She's just amazing and being like really. No, you're so cool. You're so cool. What led you to want to write a book? I guess let's start there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I have always, when I was like very, very little, I was like, I want to be a doctor and I want to be an author. And I want to be a zookeeper. And this year, I kind of did all three things because I also worked at zoo camp for a while.
You did? That's so cool.
But it was like very cool to kind of this year be like, oh my gosh, I sort of like did the things that I said I wanted to do. And I was like 5 years old. But yeah, I mean, I've always loved books. Like, I'm a big nerd, you know, I like read all the time. Big Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, like ACOTAR fan as well. And so I wrote my book in the summer of 2020. One of my friends was actually like, I'm bored, I'm gonna write. And I was like, you know what? There's no reason to not. Like, I had this story floating around in my head. And so during the whole summer when I was like, everyone was stuck in their homes, it was like so nice to have something to do every day that I was excited about. And so I just wrote for an hour or two every day, and finished it in maybe August of 2020. Never had any intention of publishing it, never had any intention of doing anything with it. It was just cool to have finished something. That was kind of for me. And then earlier this year, I went back and reread it, and I still liked it. And I was like, great, maybe I should self-publish. Like there's no reason not to. So I edited it, I reread it, and just went through KDP, like self-publishing. And yeah, it's really cool to have it out in the world where people can buy it and read it.
It's very good for everybody listening. I love the themes of like found family and whatnot. I feel like that's an important theme and like something that's been very important in my life lately. And I just think this is so good. It's called The Dream, friends. And it's this is the cover. Where is the best place for people to find this book?
Yeah, I think the best place is probably just Amazon. You can Google The Dream by Amanda Jarosik. Or there's links through our Instagram as well. So either way is totally fine. There's a Kindle option and there's the paperback option.
I will link the Amazon link in the show notes, friends. But did you do the cover since you're an artist?
I did do the cover. Yeah.
So multi-talented. It's
Thank you.
bananas. I love it. I love it so much.
No, just shout out to Canva. Made it very easy.
I mean, fair, but like it's beautiful. Yeah. Oh my God, you're so cool.
Goodness, I appreciate it. Yeah. I feel like I was really in 2020 struggling with like, why do we keep doing things when it gets hard? Like, why do we keep hoping when things feel really hopeless? And so, I mean, you've read my book, but there's like a little bit of coming full circle in it, but I want it to be really intentional that you're not back at square one. Like every act of kindness like matters. Every time you like heal someone or do something with intentionality, all the connections that you make with other people, like all of that matters, even if you feel like you're not making progress. And weirdly, I feel like that's coming back now because we're a little bit in similar circumstances again. But every time we're kind to each other, every time we experience joy or make a meaningful connection, like it matters, even if it feels like it doesn't. Yeah,
I think that's a really important reminder, and I'm really glad that you said that because it is a very similar time in many ways, and there are so many powerful tools that we get to choose every single day. I'm in the process of kind of starting like some new series and whatnot on my Instagram, and one of them is like about choosing happiness, choosing joy, and like we have the power to do that. Like that's something that we are in control of to an extent. Obviously, there are things that can happen to us that can impact our happiness, that can impact that, but we can choose certain actions every single day to bring positivity into the world, into our own world. And I think that is going to be the key for a lot of us in the next future. I'm just going to say in the future, because who
control
knows?
What you can control.
Control what you can control. Yes. No, I don't know if my therapist would love me saying that, to be honest. Because I have control problems, but like that's a me issue.
It's like, let's hold control. No, but I'm so glad that you're doing like series like that. It's so important to, spread positivity and joy where we can. So I'm so glad there are people like you out there.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited about it. I think it's a way to help me too. Selfishly in many ways, but I think a lot of content creators that I have had the privilege of meeting think very similarly in the sense of like content should reflect kind of the lessons you need to learn in many ways too. Or maybe should is not the right word there, but like often does. I think that's a key theme. Somebody else I interviewed actually just recently for season 2 was saying like a lot of what I create is like stuff I need to hear. I'm like, that's powerful. I
love that. Yes.
I want to be mindful of your time. I also know we got started a little late today on a personal note. But at the same time, I would love to ask you 4 of my hard-hitting questions that I ask all of my guests, if you're okay with that.
Yes.
Let's dive in, friend. Okay, starting with music, because obviously it is amazing. When you're feeling unmotivated or you just went through a rejection of some type or are feeling low, what
Yeah.
is a song that you can turn on and will immediately, even if it's just the tiniest fraction, boost your mood?
Uh-huh. Oh my gosh. This may be a little niche, but there's a song called This Mountain, and it's by a singer named Fusia. And she just has such a powerhouse voice, and it's just basically repeating the words like, I'm gonna make it up this mountain, I'm gonna make it to the top, like nobody can stop me. And that is always a song that I go to when I really need to feel like I'm very powerful and I got this. So would recommend.
I love that. That's amazing. I
Mhm.
will be looking that up. Also, at the end of season 2, I will be compiling everybody's answers and making a playlist.
Oh,
So
love.
can't wait
Yes.
for that. That's so cool. I've never heard that song. I love when people say songs that I've never heard of, so that's fun.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit of a niche artist, but it's a very good song. So,
Love a powerhouse voice too. That's
yeah.
Okay, next question. What is a thing or an activity that is in your rejection rescue kit? So when you go through kind of like a downturn, something that you do or something that you have that you use to, again, boost your mood.
Yeah. Geez, that's a really good question. I think when I'm super down, honestly, just getting outside, like just doing any kind of like walk, being out in nature, kind of reconnect, literally touching grass, right? Is like always very helpful to me to like get out of my own head and like move my body a little bit, feel more connected to myself. Um, so never underestimate just like a good walk. Put on music if you want, talk to yourself if not. Yeah, that's always a go-to for me.
I love that. We live in Chicago, and I feel like walking around this city is one of my personal favorite things to do.
Oh
So
yeah, except like specifically right now, but every other time of the year, it's great.
it's supposed to warm up a little bit this week, though.
It
It
is.
is supposed to.
Ready. I'm ready. But
Me
you know what?
too.
No, I'll go out walking in my snow pants. I don't care. Like,
Oh my God, I
I'll
went
be
to the
a little
grocery store
bundle.
yesterday in like a huge, like comfy thing, like one of those like
Yeah.
hoodie, sweatshirt, blanket things.
Yeah.
Put that over top my winter coat, and then I
Mhm.
went to the store.
Oh
I
yeah.
looked
Get
nuts.
over the social anxiety. I'll go out in my like weird snow pant boots. Like can't see my face. Yeah.
100%. It's like, all right, we're doing this. This is happening.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay. Next question.
Hmm.
What is the last thing you did scared?
Oh my gosh. That is so good. You know what? I am, like I said, I have stage fright, and I have always tried to get over that, and I'm getting better. But I signed up for an improv class, and so I am doing that. I am very scared. The first one is tomorrow. So I signed up scared. I'm gonna go scared, and hopefully we'll leave a little bit more confident in front of people.
Okay, I have personal questions for you about this, and I
Yeah.
100% can cut this if you don't want to say it. Is it at Second City?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, I thought about signing up for that.
You do it.
Well, do it first before you tell me I should do it. No, that's so exciting. That'll be so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, because I'm staring down like 6 weeks of just free study time before my board exam. And I was like, I need like a thing that is not just like free study time. And like I said, I've always tried to do like little things to like push myself to get more comfortable in front of people because someday I want to be like a doctor leading a team and I'm gonna have to talk to patients and people off the cuff. That's always something I've struggled with a little bit. And so I was like, I feel like this is very transferable skills. It'll get me out of my comfort zone. So yeah, fingers crossed on that. But
I gotta say, one thing that I really admire about you is your like just like dive in deep like personality. Like you with the book, you're just like, why not? And you did it. Music, you're like, why not? Let's do it. With improv, like, I got time, I'm gonna do it. And you're like also looking at it as like a longevity kind of like payoff, and I kind of love that. So I just love that about you. You're so intentional in that way, and I love that. It's it's rare in many ways, so that's awesome.
Yes. No, I'm excited. I'll let you know how it goes.
Please do. No, that's so exciting. I'm happy for you. I know other people that have done Second City and had amazing times, so I'm sure it's going to be super fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Final question for you. What is your last nugget of wisdom that you want to leave the listeners with today?
Oh my gosh. I would just say, take the leap of faith. Don't gaslight yourself out of your own dreams. Like don't be in your own way. So just do it. It's awesome.
Just do it. Nike branded.
Just do
Not
it.
actually.
It's actually sponsored.
Who knew? We hit it so well. No, it's not sponsored.
Yeah, my next big project is going to be getting really good at basketball. So.
Why not? Why not? Oh gosh, I've worn Nikes for years actually though. So if they did want to sponsor, let me know.
No, like literally.
I'll pick up basketball. They have wheelchair basketball. Why not? We'll figure it out.
Goodness, yeah. Well,
we're in the city of Jordan, like we have to, right? Like,
yes, absolutely.
Amanda, thank you so much for coming on Access Denied. This has been such a delight for this January Monday morning. It has been so fun.
Yeah, oh my gosh, this has been so great, and I'm so excited for many more not filmed coffee chats and hangouts with you.
Likewise. Where can everybody connect with you? I know we already talked about finding The Dream on Amazon. But where else can people find you?
You know what? I recently made like a public Instagram, just an art account. So I would say Amanda's Art RX. It's like new, up and coming, but that's probably the best place to find me. So
amazing. Well, I will link that in the show notes as well. And friends who are listening, thank you so much for tuning in to Access Denied. I will see you next week. And Amanda, I will see you soon. Thank you.
Hey.
And that concludes another episode of Access Denied. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like this week's episode, be sure to hit that subscription button and notification bell here on YouTube, or go check us out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss another episode. We have so much exciting content coming out for season 2. You're not going to want to miss it. I'd like to give a huge shout out to JP Warner Sound for dropping this sick beat that you're listening to right now. And finally, if you'd like to rep your love of Access Denied, you now can with our very exciting merch line featuring a very special Access Denied mug so that you can sip your morning tea while you listen to me spill the accessibility. Anyways, friends, thank you so much once again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye!